Before we get into the video, just wanted to say a couple things. In the background, we have some footage from Christopher. I will put the video link down below in the description. I really just enjoyed his video, so that's why I have it playing here, and I'll try to send you guys towards it. But before we get going with this video, I just want to say a couple things. The first is that the point of this video is just to spark discussion among people who are excited to play this game. It isn't to solve the game or make people feel like they have to watch this. And if you don't watch this or don't do what I'm saying in this video, you're playing the game wrong. It's not the point. Don't want to do that whole clickbait thing. Just kind of want to create a space where we can talk about the game, what our thoughts are, talk about the balance, talk about the interactions, provide constructive criticism and feedback, stuff like that. That's what I'm into. A second point of why I wanted to make this video is to counter some negative takes that I see out there that I think are a little bit not fully informed, aren't really considering every factor at play. Not gonna call people out, but I think a few of these takes are a little harsh and unfair. I understand everyone nowadays is super skeptical and jaded towards video game developers, and I think that is 100% fair. They have been exploiting us, trying to milk every dollar out of the consumer, but I think we should approach each game from a neutral starting ground, right? So this is made by Funcom. I've had some good experiences with Funcom, some bad experiences. I'm not saying that everything they're going to do in this game is going to be perfect. They might, rip us off. They might do some bullshit microtransactions, but there's no reason to come into the game with a hostile attitude. They can lose my trust easily, and that's fine. I'm open to that, but I just don't want to live in a world where I come into the game and I am jaded and cynical right away. So that's some stuff I want to get out of the way. And if that sort of approach is appealing to you, then I think this channel will be appealing also. Just talking about games, criticism, feedback, critiques, analysis. That's the kind of stuff that I'm into, and I'm interested to hear what other people have to say about the game and and these mechanics, stuff like that. So hopefully we can kind of create a little discussion space, civilized discussion space to talk about this kind of stuff. So with that said, I'll just get into the meat of the video. Thanks. Leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts or opinions, or you want to do a running tally of how many times I say It might be really triggering now that I told you about that. We'll see. Let me know. What I want to do in this video is, basically take this really good information that has been uploaded to YouTube recently, especially from this channel Tactic Cat. Shout out to Tactic Cat. I'll put a link in the video description and maybe put something on the screen. I think this is the only person I saw who just went through all the skill trees, all the passives, highlighted everything, even leveled them up, see how they get. This is great. Yeah, I've been waiting for this for so long. A lot of people have been waiting for it also. So, I don't know if this is bad YouTube etiquette, just kind of reacting to their video, but what am I supposed to do? This information isn't really public anywhere else. So I will try to give them as much credit as I can. So what we're gonna do, is basically just go through the skill tree and talk about, not every single thing. I think it's really great that, somebody did this and went through every single passive and every single technique and ability, and, gave a little summary of it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight, what I think are the really important abilities and interactions that are really going to dictate PvP and the meta. And so I think before we do that, I want to say a couple things, which is, nothing is set in stone, right? This is the alpha. I haven't played it, the alpha, or this is from the beta. I haven't played the alpha. The game is still in beta. Things can change. So nothing is set in stone, and I might be wrong about some fine details about how these mechanics work, right? Kind of have to make some educated guesses. So that's number one. Number two is, none of the numbers are final, right? So we might see something, duration 10 seconds, could get changed to 15, 20, maybe down, maybe the stamina cost will get tweaked. I'm sure these numbers are getting looked at, getting adjusted, right? There we go. Hunter Seeker 1200 damage. I don't know about that. Seems a little interesting. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so that's the first couple of things. Nothing's final. Some stuff in this could be wrong. Don't kill me. The reason why I have this video open here, Takebo, also really great video. Did some PvP testing. Shout out to anyone who gets into the beta or tests, and does some PvP testing. That's my shit right there. I love PvP testing, and so many people have gotten hands on this game and just sort of talked about it, but not actually tested how these mechanics work, right? So what he's talking about in this video is the Bene Gesserit voice abilities, and they're insane, right? Everyone knows they're insane. We could tell they're insane from the devlog, right? And that's what happens at the end. Guy uses the voice, kills his friend, right? So here we have some compel CC chains, but there was one thing I wanted to show that I noticed. Okay, yeah, right here. So you'll see his friend uses compel, right? Drags him over. Long ass CC. Then he uses another CC. It's sort of emanates as a cone. And this, I'm 95% sure that is stop right there. Okay, stop. Let's go over here. Look at what stop is. Stop is a 5-second cooldown, 5-second duration, 35-second cooldown. Essentially, looks to me to be an AoE stun, right? Could be wrong about this, but you see right here, it's sort of a cone, goes out in front of the player. I don't see why it would only affect one target in that cone, right? Sort of saw that the tooltip, doesn't really say whether it's AoE or single target, but I guess we'll find out. Anyways, as you can see from Tekibo's video, and we'll be done with that, and I'll put that video down in the comments. Also, great video. Go watch it. What you can see from his video is that these Bene Gesserit voice abilities are insanely powerful. I think that's pretty clear. And something Takibo brings up is, well, how is this going to work with these insane voice abilities stunning people for 5 seconds at a time? And that's, kind of why I wanted to make this video and just sort of start theory crafting about, what to do against that. And are there any tools in the game that the game gives us to deal with those? And there is one big tool I want to start with, and a lot of people are missing this, not really talking about it. Iron Will. Okay. It's in the Mentat tree. Doesn't matter, right? You could have 0 skills, 0 other Mentat abilities. You just put a point down here. I think that's the wall. Put a point over here. Waste a couple skill points, right? It's 2. That to get 1, right? So that would be 3 skill points wasted, but you will unlock Iron Will, and this is a technique. Okay, what it does, I'll read it. You have developed such a strong sense of self, you're able to alter your thought patterns, avoid manipulations of the Bene Gesserit voice at the cost of stamina. Okay, at least those of lesser practitioners. All right, we don't really know what this means, but to me, this is the counter to Bene Gesserit voice abilities, right? Avoid the manipulations, cost stamina. The voice abilities are stop, compel, maybe one or two others, but those are the main ones, right? So this is a technique. Everyone can just pop this down here. You have 3 technique slots. Um, yeah, I'm not going to say, this is going to be mandatory. Or, I haven't played the game. I don't know what's mandatory, what's not. But this is definitely, S tier technique as we go into beta and release. Um, and that's because of how strong stop and compel are. Um, Obviously, we don't really know exactly how Iron Will works, other than that it costs stamina and it resists, manipulations of lesser practitioners, right? So, what does that mean? Is there some way to get around this? Yeah, not really clear. Does it have a cooldown? Is it, chance to just avoid manipulation? Is it RNG? Do you have to press a button? Probably not, because it's a technique, but yeah, how it really works exactly, we don't know. But definitely, this is the ability that will sort of shape the entire meta of the game, right? Because basically, you know, if you don't run this, you run the risk of sitting ridiculously long CC chains. I mean, and that's just from one player. You start running with multiple players. Um, you start running with multiple players, stacking compel and stop, and it's going to get ridiculous, completely absurd. And the time to kill seems pretty short in this game. So how you're going to survive without Iron Will, if people are running the Bene Gesserit voice abilities, yeah, is beyond me. I don't think it's going to happen. You're going to need to have it. So obviously, it's sort of a whack-a-mole game, right? Because, oh, if everyone's running Iron Will, well, then maybe everyone will just stop running these voice abilities, because Iron Will is so effective. It just blocks everything, even though, it probably doesn't. Probably has some sort of workaround or counter, but right. So maybe nobody will be running these Bene Gesserit voice abilities, in high level PvP where people know what they're doing because everyone has Iron Will. Well, then you get into a situation where people start dropping Iron Will, right? Because they want another technique slot. They want to put something else down here. Well, then the Bene Gesserit abilities are, back on the table really strong. So we'll see what happens. But, I think that the safe bet is, just run Iron Will. I haven't really seen, you know, techniques that are really going to be as powerful as this, right? So, let's say you sacrifice one technique slot. Um, you sacrifice the technique slot and you fight someone who's got no Bene Gesserit abilities, right? Well, okay, yeah, you're going to be losing, maybe some cooldown reduction, maybe a little, poison tooth thing. I don't know, nothing that strong, nothing that crazy. Try to just find some other passives. Look at or techniques. Manipulate instability. Okay, instability bonus damage 15. Maybe it'll get up to, what does it get up to? Uh, gets up to 20, right? So 20% bonus damage. It's not awful, but if you have to decide between 20% bonus damage some of the time and being able to resist these insane auto kill, auto win, CC chains, some of the time, I think that you go with that CC chain interrupt Iron Will. It's not going to be useful against every single player you face, but you know you don't want to be caught without it, right? Um, One time, you'll go out in PvP, try to say, I don't want to run Iron Will today. I want to do something else. Yeah, once you eat that compel into stop CC chain, I think you'll probably change your mind. And these abilities could be nerfed, right? Maybe this duration on stop comes down. 5 seconds seems very, very long. Um, Don't think we have a duration on compel. It seemed, possibly longer than 5 seconds. I don't know. It's insane. So I think at a high level, the game is just going to be sort of shaped around Iron Will, compel, and stop, and that sort of mini game interaction between that. Um, yeah. So I see a lot of people worried. How's the PvP going to work with these long, long CC voice abilities? Like, what what the hell is going to happen? It's going to be a nightmare. So, one of the reasons why I really want to make this video is just to point out that there's a little more going on than we're all just screwed. We're going to get CC'd to death. We have Iron Will. Again, TBD how effective it is, but that's a lot. 45 stamina. That's a lot. I think we can look at other abilities. They don't really, you know, Shiga Wire 15, right? So 45 seems like a good chunk of stamina. It's sort of, the price you pay to be able to stop these CC abilities.